女士们、先生们，上午好！欢迎出席中共中央。Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to today's press briefing. Today is the 32nd of our press conferences, and we're glad to be joined by Minister Huang Renqiu of the Ministry of Ecology and Environment to talk about implementing new development philosophy and building a beautiful China where man and nature coexist in harmony. And he will also address your questions. Now, let me give the floor to Mr. Huang. Thank you. Dear friends from the press, good morning. As the Communist Party of China will soon convene its 20th National Congress, I am very glad to brief you on our historical achievements in building ecological civilization and conserving the environment over the past 10 years since the 18th National Congress of the CPC. All of you have witnessed the historical progress together with me, and you have, through your own work, contributed to this process. I would like to also express our deep-felt appreciation. In the past 10 years, we have seen historical progress in various areas of the party's work. This is also true in environmental protection. We have significantly deepened our awareness, taken the biggest ever measures, and achieved the most rapid and notable results. With unprecedented efforts, the Party Central Committee has been focused on environmental protection from philosophy, rule of law, institutions, organization, and style of work. A number of fundamental, pioneering, and far-reaching actions have been taken. This is how we have been able to make the historical and overarching achievements. We are now more proactive in our work, and we have created a number of wonders in green development and ecological preservation. Our production has been improved, the people's lives are better off, and the ecology has been improved. Major steps have been taken in building a beautiful China. In terms of philosophy, to sustain the development of the Chinese nation, General Secretary Xi Jinping has advanced a number of new concepts, ideas, and strategies which together form the Xi Jinping thought on ecological conservation, and they provide a fundamental guidance for our work. In terms of strategic planning, now building a beautiful China is one of the goals of building a modern socialist country. Developing ecological civilization is one of the 5-sphered integrated plan, and the harmonious coexistence of man and nature is part of the basic strategy of developing socialism with Chinese characteristics. Green is now part of the new development philosophy, and pollution prevention and control is one of the 3 key battles we are fighting. So we have a well-established strategic plan. In terms of the measures of reform, we have reformed the management system for environmental protection and resources management, established and operationalized a central inspection, assessment, and accountability, responsible persons for rivers and red lines of ecological protection, discharge licenses, and damages compensation. We have formulated and amended over 30 laws and regulations in this area, so we have a much stronger institutional system to ensure our work.
On ecological quality in 2021, National average concentration of PM2.5 in cities at and above the prefecture level dropped by 34.8% compared with 2015, and the proportion of class 1 to 3 surface water nationwide increased to 84.89%. Soil environment risk was effectively controlled. The importation of solid waste was completely banned, thus achieving the goal of zero import of solid waste. Natural reserves account for 18% of the country's land area, and the population of more than 300 species of rare and endangered wildlife has steadily increased, vividly demonstrating the harmonious coexistence between man and nature. On green and low-carbon development, over the past decade, national carbon dioxide emission per unit of GDP has dropped by 34.4%, and the proportion of coal in total energy consumption has dropped from 68.5% to 56%. China ranks the first worldwide on the scale of renewable energy development as well as the production and sales of NEVs. Last year, China also launched the world's largest carbon emission trading market. We can see that green has increasingly become the distinctive feature of high-quality development. Friends from the media. China has entered a new stage of development. General Secretary Xi Jinping stressed that on the new journey of building a modern socialist country in all respects, we need to pay more attention to environmental protection. We have promoted the conclusion, signing, entry into force, and implementation of the Paris Agreement on climate change, and announced that China will strive to peak carbon dioxide emissions by 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. We successfully held the first phase of COP15 in Kunming and published the Kunming Declaration. China also promoted the development of the Green Belt and Road. China is now an important participant, contributor, and pace-setter in the development of global ecological civilization. Friends from the media, China has entered a new stage of development. General Secretary Xi Jinping stressed that on the new journey of building a modern socialist country in all respects, the entire party and the whole country should maintain strategic resolve in strengthening the development of ecological civilization, focus on promoting the comprehensive green transition of development, and strive to build a beautiful China where man and nature live in harmony. Looking forward, the ministry will follow the guidance of Xi Jinping thought on ecological civilization, earnestly implement decisions and appointment of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council to coordinate carbon reduction, pollution reduction, green development, and ecological growth, so as to promote high-quality development and high-quality life through ecological protection. Friends from the media, last July, the ministry has established the Center for Xi Jinping Thought on Ecological Protection, and it has become an important base for our study and practice, and we welcome your participation and your support. We hope that through our efforts, green can be the most distinctive, significant, and solid color of a beautiful China. We will take concrete steps to greet the successful convocation of the 20th Party Congress. That's all for my briefing. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wang. Please ask your questions. Since the 18th Party Congress, China has declared and launched a battle against pollution. In the whole process, my question is that, what are the changes in our work of ecological and environmental protection? and what are the measures looking forward? Thank you for your question. Ecological environment is an important political issue, significant to the party's mission and purpose, as well as a major social issue. Since the 18th Party Congress, the Party Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, has been making unprecedented efforts to develop ecological civilization and protect the environment. One of the major initiatives is the fight against pollution. This has been playing a guiding role in our effort. President Xi Jinping stressed that no matter how difficult the mission is, we must face up to it and have the courage and resolve to make efforts and win the battle against pollution. Keeping his instruction in mind, we have been making unprecedented efforts in pollution reduction and witnessed good results in our efforts. Major phased targets has been reached or exceeded, and we've seen good improvements in our environment. I believe that all of you can witness those changes. Over the years, blue skies and white clouds have become what we see every day. People now have a stronger sense of happiness, fulfillment, and security. According to the survey done by the authority in China, more than 90% of Chinese people are satisfied with the environment in China. And all of the results can be summarized in 3 aspects. First, air quality has undergone historic changes. National annual average concentration of PM 2.5 has been reduced from 46 microgram per cubic meter in 2015 to 33 in 2020, and 30 last year in 2021, which is historically lower than the WHO Phase 1 transition value of 35. The ratio of good air quality days reached 87.5%, increase of 6.3 percentage points from 2015. China achieved the fastest increase of air quality in the world, according to a report by Bloomberg. The improvement of air quality in China in the 7 years from 2013 to 2020 is equivalent to what the United States has achieved in the more than 30 years since the adoption of the Clean Air Act. Second, water quality has undergone significant changes. In the past decade, good quality water resources nationwide was up by 23.3 percentage points to 84.9%, which is close to the level to developed countries. The proportion of poor quality water was down by 9.7 percentage points. Third, the quality of the soil environment has undergone fundamental changes. The first soil pollution prevention and control law was issued, which is a very important legislation. According to the law, we have carried out detailed investigation on national agricultural land and construction land. The trend of worsening soil pollution has been effectively curbed. In the 14th five-year plan period, the CPC Central Committee has pointed out that in our battle against pollution, efforts need to be made in the following aspects. From the 13th five-year plan to the 14th five-year plan, focus has been changed in the battle against pollution with wider coverage and higher requirements, as well as bigger difficulties. so that we need to continue to make efforts in even larger areas and with stronger intensity so as to address those problems. There are the three major considerations. First, at the strategic level, we need to maintain strategic resolve on the direction and intensity of efforts. The improvement in ecological environment is significant. However, it is still at a relatively low level. There is still a gap between people's ardent expectation and the scenarios that we see nowadays. So we need to pay more attention and put the environmental protection in the overall picture of economic and social development. Better coordinate COVID response and economic and social development and ecological environmental protection. Safeguard the bottom line of ecological and environmental security. Second, at the tactical level, first, we need to follow a precise, scientific, and lawful approach to treat pollution. Precise measures need to be adopted, targeting the problem, time, area, and measures. We need to use legal means to manage environmental protection and protect the ecological environment. And on the other hand, we need to adopt a comprehensive and systemic approach to address the root causes and coordinate carbon reduction, pollution reduction, green expansion, and economic growth. The five coordinations is very important. That is the coordination between pollution reduction and carbon synergy. This is not only important to the protection of our environment, but also important to addressing the root causes. And the second coordination is between the PM 2.5 control and ozone layer control. The lowering of pollutants can curb the trend of the synergy between PM 2.5 and ozone pollution. In 2021, the concentration of the two pollutants has been decreased. We also need to coordinate between water resources and water environment. A good water environment hinges on a good water ecological system. We need to have good grass and swimming fish in our waters. So efforts need to be made in protecting biodiversity. We also need to coordinate between urban and rural ecological environmental protection. Weak links still exist in rural protection, and efforts need to be made in this area. It also means to coordinate between traditional pollutants and new pollutants. New pollutants risks management system needs to be well established and implemented. We have already implemented the 8 major aspects of our campaign against pollution. In the battle for blue skies, we need to eliminate heavily polluted weather, ozone pollution, and diesel truck pollution. In the fight for clean water, we need to eliminate black smelly waters, protect key sea areas, as well as the ecological protection and restoration in the Yangtze River and the Yellow River. In the battle for clean soil, we need to focus on the treatment of rural sewage and black smelly water, and win the battle for the agriculture and rural pollution treatment. Looking forward, we will make more efforts to protect people's livelihood and address people's needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Water protection is critical to improving life quality and high-quality development, what progress has been made in improving water quality?
Thank you for your question. As what I've said before, water is the most basic element of ecological environment. And clean water is also what people want to see. This is also our goal. Since the 18th Party Congress, following the decisions and deployment of the Central Committee and the State Council, we have carried out the campaign to protect water resources. We have achieved fundamental changes in water ecological environmental protection in China, which can be summarized in the following three aspects. First, the system of water resources protection has been improved. The Water Pollution Prevention and Control Law was revised, and the Yangtze River Protection Law and a series of other laws and regulations were formulated and amended, which solidified the foundation of the rule of law for water protection. Taking the opportunity of improving the legal system, we also established an authority to protect water bodies and water resources. The total number of state-controlled sections of water increased from 1,900 to 3,600 in the 14th five-year plan period, covering the 10 major river basins, cities at prefecture levels and above, as well as major functional areas. In the recent years, 18 provinces and 13 rivers has been covered in the system of protecting rivers and lakes. Coordination has been achieved between upper streams and lower streams. Effective and significant results has been seen in the battle for blue skies. In the Yangtze River Protection and Restoration Campaign, we have found more than 60,000 outfalls and outlets into the river. 16,000 environmental damage cases has been rectified. And the Class 2 river quality, water quality has been achieved in the mainstream of Yangtze River for consecutive years. More than 17,000 outlets in the upper reaches of yellow rivers and some midstream reaches has been found, and the water quality has reached or exceeded good level. Together with other competent departments, we've made significant efforts and launched a special campaign against urban black smelly water bodies, and basically eliminated 295 black smelly water bodies in the built-up areas of cities. Water pollution is also an issue that people pay a lot of attention to. So now this black smelly water has been turned into beautiful scenery. 99,000 kilometers of new sewage networks has been built, equivalent to more than 2 laps around the Earth's equator. 1,200 industrial parks at the provincial level above has been included in the treatment network. A special campaign has been launched to ensure the safety of drinking water. More than 10,000 problems at 2,804 water origins has been rectified and investigated. Third, the ecological protection and restoration of rivers and lakes has witnessed positive progress. We have strengthened ecological protection and restoration of river and lake shorelines. We regreened 12 million square meters of river shoals, which significantly improved the environment of the Yangtze River. The Tai Lake and Arhai Lake has been included in the industrial transformation campaign so as to improve the environment in these areas. Pollution has been addressed with more concrete actions. so as to crack down on illegal actions. In the past decade, the quality of water resources in China has undergone fundamental changes. A number of typical cases emerged. For example, the largest freshwater lake, Baiyuandian Lake, now has a very good quality of water resources. By implementing instructions of President Xi Jinping, we have been making great efforts of improving the water quality of Baiyuandian area. In 2021, the precipitation area of Baiyuandian Lake now reached Class 3 standards of water quality, which is a breakthrough achievement. No matter it is the water quality or the environment in the lake, we can see a good scenery demonstrating the harmony between man and nature. Many species that haven't been seen for many years re-emerged, and wild birds returned to these areas. The number of species increased to 237. The pearl of North China shined again. In 2021, similar cases also exist. Around 18 cases has been included in the examples of good protection of water resources. Entering the new development stage, the focus of water protection will shift from water pollution prevention and control to water resources, ecology, and environment system management. Special efforts will be made to enhance the protection and restoration of water ecosystems, strengthen weak links, and improve quality and efficiency so as to promote the protection work and lay a solid foundation of building a beautiful China.
Thank you. China has made notable progress in cleaning up the air. People are sharing pictures of the blue skies. So how has China been able to achieve such great progress in such a short period of time, and what measures have been taken, and what are the things to be done in the future? Thank you for your question. On air quality, I'd also like to share with you a picture taken at night. This is a picture of star trails taken at Wumen of the Summer Palace. You can see the stars in the skies and their trails, which are very clear to the eye. In order to capture such a picture, we need excellent air quality, very clean and clear air. So this picture is a clear example of Beijing's progress in cleaning up the air. In fact, I also have some statistics on this picture. In 2013, the PM2 levels were at nearly 90 mg per cubic meter. In fact, 89.5. In 2021, it was 33, down by 63.1%, about two-thirds. The number of heavily polluted days dropped from 58 in 2013 to only 8 last year. And this year so far, we've only had 2. So blue skies are no longer a luxury, unlike in the past when it only happened on the big days. This is a regular sight now in Beijing to have blue skies. What has happened in Beijing is part of what is happening across China. In some of the key regions and also around the country, we are seeing similar improvements. Over the past 10 years, in 74 key cities, the PM2.5 levels dropped by an average of 56%. The number of heavily polluted days was reduced by 87%. In 2021, Chinese cities only reduced their number of heavily polluted days by 51%. China is the first developing country to take on PM2.5 challenge and is acclaimed as the fastest in curbing the pollution. These progress is attributable to the leadership of the CPC Central Committee. The government has rolled out a number of key measures, such as the 10 pieces of regulations, identifying the 3 key battles. Different regions and departments are also working together, and society-wide efforts are also being made to clean up the air. In terms of the key steps we have taken, I believe 4 measures deserve a mention. First of all is to transform our energy mix to speed up the green and low-carbon transformation. Clean energy made up 2/3 of the increase in energy consumption over the past 10 years, and the number of coal boilers and kilns was reduced from close to 500,000 to less than 100,000. Clean heating is being implemented in northern China, and over 27 million households no longer use coal as their heating sources, which also made their life better and improved air quality in these regions by reducing the use of coal powder by over 60 million tons. Second is industrial mix and high quality growth. We phased out outdated capacity and dealt with excess capacity. This includes 300 million tons of iron and steel, 400 million cement, and 150 million carbon weight of sheet glass. We have built the world's largest clean coal-fired power system, and we are retrofitting iron and steel emission procedures. We have already completed our work for 680 million tons of crude steel. And third is transportation structure. We have phased out old and used vehicles and high-emission vehicles, over 30 million of them, in fact. We have the world's largest clean energy vehicles in terms of their numbers, and the oil quality and emissions intensity have also seen great improvements up to international standards. Fourth, we are improving municipal environment management. Dust management is a key part at construction sites. And in areas of gravel excavations, less dust is being emitted. We have established a strong supervisory network to reduce more burning in spring, open-air barbecue in summer, straw burning in autumn, coal powder burning in winter, and trash burning around the year. These stubborn problems have been effectively managed. Technology has played a key part. Over 2,000 personnel have joined this battle. We have also developed a national level early warning and reporting system for PM2.5 to increase our accuracy to around 90%. This has proved very important for our work. At the same time, we are aware that we still have a lot to do to build a beautiful China. We will continue to reduce emission and pollution. jointly manage PM 2.5 and ozone, tackle the discharge of various pollutants, and promote the green transformation of industry, energy, and transportation to protect our blue skies and improve air quality. Thank you.
From ITV News. This summer here in China and across the region in places like India and Pakistan, we saw what appeared to be the accelerated effects of climate change. I want to get your view on what we've experienced this summer, and do you think that China can still reach its targets on decarbonisation and on emissions, given it's facing these extreme events when we've seen some parts of the country facing power outages? Thank you.
请翻译一下。
英国独立电视台。这个夏天，中国和世界其他地方，例如印度和巴基斯坦，都遭受了气候变化导致的极端天气困扰。中国在面临这些极端气候变化的时候，还会完成自己设定的去碳化目标吗？谢谢。
Thank you for your question. This is a very good question that is very relevant nowadays. Indeed, this summer, many parts of China suffered from prolonged heat waves. You also mentioned that not only China, but also some parts in Europe and Pakistan suffered from heat waves and droughts. This also made everyone feel the impact of climate change very near to our lives and highlighted the urgency of addressing climate change. The Chinese government pays a lot of attention to addressing climate change since the 18th Party Congress. Following the guidance of Xi Jinping's thought on ecological civilization, we have paid special attention and priority to addressing climate change, which is now a national strategy. We have been reducing the level of carbon emissions and promoting economic and social development in a comprehensive manner and implement the green transition of development. We've also seen significant results. In September 2020, President Xi Jinping solemnly declared at the 75th General Debate of the UNGA that China will strive to peak carbon dioxide emissions by 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality by 2060, which means that China, as the world's largest developing country, will achieve a carbon peak and carbon neutrality in the shortest time in global history and with the highest reduction in carbon emissions, which is a very difficult task. Considering China's population and the structure of industry, this is an unprecedented challenge that China faces. It also fully demonstrates that China has the firm determination in actively addressing climate change and following a green and low-carbon development path. General Secretary Xi Jinping stressed that achieving the two goals is not something that other people ask us to do, but something that we must do ourselves. Over the past decade, the intensity of our carbon emissions dropped by 34.4%, reversing the rapid growth of carbon dioxide emissions in the previous decade. You asked about our determination. We will show you how determined we are through concrete actions. So what did we do in the past decade? First, we have steadily promoted energy restructuring. The proportion of coal in primary energy consumption fell from 68.5% to 56%. Non-fossil energy consumption increased by 6.9 percentage points to 16.6%. Installed renewable energy generation capacity increased by 2.1 times. Wind, light, solar, water, and biomass power generation capacity ranked the first in the world. Second, we continue to optimize and upgrade the industrial structure. We vigorously developed green and low-carbon industries, strictly controlled the expansion of high-energy consumption and high-emission projects, and phased out backward production capacity in accordance with the law. China has supported an average of 6.85% of annual average economic growth with the 3% in energy consumption. Strategic and emerging industries are developing and booming. For example, the NEV production and sales also ranks the first in the world. In the past decade, forest coverage has increased by 7.1%, reaching 227 million hectares. Forest carbon sink has increased by 7.3%, reaching 839 million tons of CO2 per year, which can offset China's annual car carbon emissions. Fourth, we have promoted the development of national carbon market. And we also strengthened capacity building in weak links such as agricultural development and rural areas. We also launched the world's largest carbon market. On July 16, 2021, the National Carbon Emissions Trading Market was officially launched. Coal power plants were included in the network, so making the market the world's largest carbon market. As of yesterday, accumulated trading volume of carbon emission quota was 195 million tons, which effectively tapped into the role of incentives and constraints to cut emissions. China also made its contribution to global climate governance, upholding the vision of building a community with a shared future for mankind. China has constructively participated in multilateral processes. We made historic contributions to the conclusion, entry into force, and smooth implementation of the Paris Agreement. By the end of August this year, we have reached to 1.2 billion RMB of accumulated volume of South-South cooperation projects. Addressing the outstanding problems in climate change is an important task for the nation, so we have a solemn commitment to building a community with a shared future for mankind. China will match words with its deeds by fully implementing the 1+N policy system, actively participate in and lead the global climate governance, so as to make new and greater contributions to building a beautiful China and addressing climate change.
Over the past year, we are seeing great improvements in China's natural environment and the species. My question is what China has been doing in protecting the ecology. And on COP15, China is the chair of the second phase of COP15. What goals does China have?
Thank you for your question. A beautiful ecological environment is the basis for the harmony between man and nature. Over the past decade, China has prioritized ecological protection. And President Xi Jinping stressed time and again that we need to protect land, grasslands, and deserts. We need to make efforts in the protection of ecological system. So our efforts can be summarized in the following 5 aspects. First, In the past decade, China's ecological protection system has been improved. China has amended more than 20 laws and regulations, such as the biosafety law. The rule of law has become stronger for ecological protection. On institutional initiatives, we have set up the first red line policy in ecological protection by designating more than 25% of national land area as ecological protection area. We established a system of natural reserves, mainly natural parks, which protected more than 70% of wildlife in China. Dolphins in rivers, or jiangtun, re-emerged in many areas in China. The species increased by 30 in the past several years. The past decades also witnessed the strongest efforts in the supervision of ecological protection. Through inspection made by the CPC Central Committee, a number of outstanding damage problems has been addressed and solved. For example, the Qilian Mountain have been transformed from heavily damaged area to full of green. The north face of Qilian Mountain eliminated disorderly development and started orderly withdrawal. For consecutive 5 years, we have launched the campaign to protect ecological environment in these areas. Third, in the past decade, we have consolidated China's ecological security barrier. We followed the integrated protection and systemic management approach of protecting mountains, waters, forests, lakes, grasslands, and deserts. More than 20 pilot projects has been launched to protect the ecology and restore environment in the above-mentioned areas. The once extinct species colored ibis in the picture re-emerged in our nature. And we also see the gorilla in the picture. This is an extremely endangered species. But in the past several years, we see expanding habitats of this species. Critically endangered endemic species re-emerged in the wild. Fourth, in the past decade, we have turned green mountains to golden mountains in innovative ways. We have designated 5 batches of ecological civilization areas, 362 in total, to implement the Xi Jinping thought on ecological civilization. This is also a new way for us to achieve high-quality development. In Jiawang District, Jiangsu Province, a significant transformation was made to turn a city of coal ash to a city of green hills and lakes. Fifth, in the past decade, China was deeply involved in the global biodiversity governance. We actively implemented the CBD and its protocols and implemented the conservation targets in the past decade, which exceeded the global average. In October last year, as the president of COP15, we successfully held the Kunming meeting. President Xi Jinping delivered a keynote speech announcing the establishment of Biodiversity Fund and other initiatives. The theme of COP15 meeting is very good and announced to the world that China is determined to follow its philosophy and approach of protecting biodiversity. By doing so, China contributed its fair share and its solution to protecting biodiversity in the world. The second phase of COP15 has become a topic of great interest. Based on domestic international COVID response situation, it has been decided that the second phase of COP15 will be held in Montreal, Canada, from December the 7th to 19th this year. Although the venue has been changed, the theme of COP15 will remain the same. That is, building a community, a shared future for all life on Earth. China will continue to play a leading role at the chair and strive to promote a pragmatic and ambitious post-2020 global biodiversity framework and contribute its efforts to advancing the global diversity protection process. Thank you.
Soil is the lifeline of everything on Earth, critical to our daily life. Can you update us on this environment? What are the problems and what measures will be taken?
Thank you for your question. Soil is the essence of everything and the origin of lives. Protecting soil is significant. Since the 18th Party Congress, the ministry has worked with localities and departments to protect soil. The trend of worsening national soil pollution has been effectively curbed, and the overall quality of soil remained stable. The risk of soil pollution has been basically controlled. In general, the progress has been summarized in following three aspects. First, we have carried out detailed investigation on soil pollution, covering 80,000 monitoring points. Covering all counties, cities, and districts. The area, distribution, and impact on the quality of agricultural products of soil contamination has been investigated. Figures and data have been shared with other competent departments. Second, we have established a system of soil protection. The Soil Pollution Prevention and Control Law is the first law in this area. The prevention-oriented principle of soil protection has been established, highlighting classified management and risk control, so that people can have a stronger sense of security in their daily life. Third, we have controlled the risk of soil pollution by addressing the root causes. We have implemented and established a legal system of soil protection. Third, we have controlled the risk of soil contamination. Since the 13th five-year plan period, we have carried out joint efforts in preventing and controlling the source of soil pollution of heavy metal, such as cadmium on agricultural land. More than 18,000 enterprises were included in this network. We also investigated the safe use of farmland. Effective measures have been adopted to protect the soil, including the agricultural land. We also assessed the quality of soil in farmland and construction land. A list has been established to ensure strict management. Those that do not reach the standards of risk control and restoration cannot be used as land for housing, public management, or public services. Some areas has adopted effective measures to expand construction area and agricultural land, as well as protecting the soil. Here I can show you a picture of a case in Shanghai, the Taotu Industrial Zone. This is the first chemical industrial zone designated in Shanghai. It was once heavily contaminated in terms of soil and water. Through significant efforts in recent years, the polluted land has been treated and restored. The ecological environment of this park, as you can see in this picture, has been dramatically improved. This is a transformation for this industrial zone, setting a fine example in Shanghai and in the whole country. However, we still see the weak links in soil protection. Looking forward, we'll work with relevant departments to focus on the four aspects of work. We will adhere to the prevention-oriented approach and strengthen the supervision and enforcement of key soil pollution. Second, we'll focus on prominent areas of arable land pollution, investigate causes, and implement a classification management system. Third, we'll implement strict management on construction land access, strengthen coordinated supervision on unqualified land. Fourth, we'll comprehensively implement tasks of the new pollutant management treatment action plan and vigorously enhance the ability to manage new pollution. Thank you.
Every summer, people spend their vacations by the sea, so marine environment is also a focus of attention. Since the 18th National Congress of the CPC, what has been done to improve the marine environment, and what are the actions to be taken? Thank you. The sea is a strategic part of high-quality development, and its environment is important for high-quality growth and harmonious coexistence between man and nature. President Xi Jinping attaches great importance to this. So we must make new efforts to protect the environment and protect biodiversity. In the past 10 years, we have made achievements in the following areas. First of all, is land-sea joint management system has been established. In 2018, marine environment protection became part of the job portfolio of the ministry. So we began to exercise joint management over land and sea. We established marine environment supervision organizations in 3 basins and worked with other departments in environment evaluation, law enforcement, and protection. 11 coastal areas have established their marine environment protection agencies to manage the land and sea together. And second, there has been new improvements in marine ecological environment. We treated pollution offshore. Over the past 10 years, in the state-controlled section of rivers flowing to the sea, grade 1 to 3 water quality section ratio reached to 71.7%, up by 25 percentage points, and the substandard water decreased by 24 percentage points, and offshore water quality increased by 17.6 percentage points. We also cleaned up the Bohai area and completed 30 tasks that had clear deadlines. We continued to build beautiful bay where you can see clean water, fish and birds, and people enjoy themselves. For example, in Qingdao, we cleaned up the 30 kilometers of beach line and turned it into a beautiful park. Third, there's new progress in marine ecological protection system. We integrated the land and sea joint management system based on 1,359 land-based supervisory stations. We have strengthened the marine environment regulatory system. All coastal provinces began to address pollutants discharge at estuaries. In Bohai alone, we discovered 19,000 such estuaries, and we are promoting the green transformation of sea farming and treating of marine wastes. In Fujian province, they are promoting green transformation of sea farming, replacing plastics with eco-friendly materials to reduce fishing garbage and turn the erstwhile sea wasteland into a beautiful area on the sea. We are also working with relevant departments to strengthen maritime environment protection and rehabilitation. We have drawn red lines in all the 11 coastal provinces and cities, established 145 sea nature reserves covering 7.91 million hectares. We have cleaned up 1,200 kilometers of beach lines. And number 4, we have established new mechanisms for law enforcement. To increase accountability in 2015, through centralized inspection, we discovered over 150 outstanding problems and urged the local government to take responsive actions. Together with maritime police and other departments, we have carried out special campaigns to deter breaches of law. During the 14th five-year plan period, we will continue to work with the relevant authorities to build a beautiful bay, clean up marine environment, tackle pollution in key areas, exercise tailored policies to different bays, increase our capacity for integrated land-sea management to promote a better marine environment and support high-quality growth in the coastal areas. Last question. Thank you. In the past 10 years, the biggest impression is that environment protection is receiving increasing attention. The ministry has grown its teeth and is no longer working alone. So in terms of institutional building, has there been any progress? Thank you for your question. President Xi Jinping stressed many times that to build ecological civilization institution is critical. We need the strictest possible system and legal framework to protect the law. This is one of the core messages of the Xi Jinping thought, guided by the philosophy. In the past 10 years, we have taken the most intensive legislative efforts, increasing both the quality and quantity of our laws. First of all, in terms of legislation, there has been great progress. The Environmental Protection Law, the basic document in this area, was fully operational in 2015 after a complete overhaul. It established a number of mechanisms such as daily fines, seizures of assets, administrative detention, hailed as the strictest ever in China's history. The National People's Congress also formulated 25 environment-related laws covering land, air, soil, solid waste, and noises. And such ecological systems such as the Yangtze River, wetland, and the Chernozem soil. Now we have over 30 laws in environmental protection covering all the necessary areas. They are very practical and rigorous. Ecological civilization is also part of our legal framework, and we use it to counter violations of law. In the past 10 years, we have seen the largest number of rules in this area. In 2015, the CPC Central Committee and State Council rolled out opinions on accelerating the building of ecological civilization and a master plan for institutional reform. Following these two overarching documents, we have unveiled a number of innovative rules, such as centralized inspection and vertical reform and license for pollutant discharge. These institutional improvements have been very important in guaranteeing the effectiveness of our work. In particular, centralized inspection is a critical tool. In July this year, at the press conference, we talked about this mechanism and its impact. Allow me to add a few more points. This mechanism was personally pushed forward by President Xi Jinping. It's a major institutional innovation and reform measure. It is an implementation of Xi Jinping's thought on ecological civilization. It asks party and government officials to shoulder equal responsibilities and enabled the resolution of a number of ecological problems, promoting high-quality growth. It also tests the sense of responsibilities of our officials in living up to their responsibilities in protecting the environment. 262 typical cases were exposed, and 287,000 pieces of complaints were handled. Actions have been taken on 285,000. During the first round of inspection, we held 18,000 people accountable. So, in terms of political, economic, environmental, and social impact, it is very notable. In the past 10 years, we have carried out the strongest law enforcement activities with the biggest impact. I have some figures to share with you. In 2021, the number of environmental cases that received administrative penalties was 1.6 times that of the number before the new environmental protection law was promulgated. Between 2013 and 2021, the People's Court handled, on average, over 2,000 cases involving crimes of environmental protection. But before 2013, on every year, there was only about 20 or 30 cases. Since 2015, we have handled 170,000 cases involving our new punishing methods and those that involve environmental pollution crimes. In this process, we made good use of new technologies such as modern remote sensing and big data, VOC's mobile detection, and drones to help us establish a space, air, land system to discover problems, collect information, and expose intentional pollution of the environment. We can take a look at this picture. It's some companies are setting up secret pipelines to discharge their pollutants. Normally, it would be difficult to find these pipelines find them out, but with infrared detectors, they are fully exposed, and the companies received their due punishment. We're also improving law enforcement methods and effectiveness. We have established lists and refrain from over-troubling those companies and targeting those polluting the environment. Going forward, we'll continue to implement the Xi Jinping thought and improve our legal and institutional framework to carry out a targeted scientific work. At the same time, we're also going to support the companies and promote high-quality growth. Thank you. This ends our press conference today.